Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and it's early in the morning, okay? I'm gonna caveat everything I say by just saying it's like 5 in the morning. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. I don't typically film these videos like this early, so anyway, but the title of this video is We Are All Children, and I've been thinking about this a lot, especially because of like I don't usually read or follow politics, okay? But when I do, I am always shocked at the people who run my country, people who run America, people who run the world just seem incredibly stupid. Okay? I don't mean for this to get political. I'm not picking a side. I'm not doing any of that. But for whatever reason, these world leaders end up in the dumbest scandals and they've done the stupidest of things. And I have to remind myself that we are all children. Nobody gets like a free pass. Nobody, like, I'm so done with seeing people as adults because none of us, like, adult doesn't mean anything really when you think of it. It just means like a human being who has lived a certain amount of years. It does not imply, or it should not imply, maturity, wisdom, knowledge. It shouldn't imply, courage or bravery or, fastidious work. It shouldn't imply any of that stuff. Being an adult really just means I haven't, fallen ill to some horrible thing that happened. I just survived another year. And I don't know. I was listening to Joe Rogan not too long ago, and he said when he had kids, he just realized like, oh, everybody's just like a child. Everybody was a child once, and everybody is like still a child. As he was like watching his daughters grow up, he's like, oh dang, like everybody is just a kid. That's how we start, and we really don't change a whole lot after the age of like 5. We're just a little bit more nuanced, but not necessarily more mature or more advanced. And I like that because if you can keep in context that everybody you engage with and everybody you interact with is just a big kid, it's just a child. It gives you a bit more compassion for people. It allows you to say like, oh, you know what? Like these people are ridiculous, but they're only children. Like we're all very naive human beings. Like human beings don't live long enough for us to be like wise, sage, like in Lord of the Rings, when those elves who are like thousands of years old, when they talk, they seem so wise and so put together and like they know the truth and they know their way or whatever. We don't live long enough to do that. Even if you're 90 years old, you're going to have some prejudices. You're going to have some like strange thoughts. You're going to have some like silly beliefs. And so like humans really don't live long enough to be mature, and to be, sage wisdom, embodying sage wisdom. So there's no point to looking at people as mature or anything like that. And you might say, well, adults are supposed to be responsible. No, adults are not responsible. If you want any proof of that, I can give you World War II, the Cold War, the current economic crisis, climate change, like anything you really want. Adults are not mature. Adults don't make rational decisions. And I'm sick and tired of adults basically saying like, oh, like I know better than you. No, you don't. Your age means nothing. Like age really does mean nothing. And I say that on two sides. So like the prejudice in our society about getting older, I hate that. Everybody knows that I hate that. I hate when people are treated differently based on being older. When young people make fun of or tease or are derogatory against older people just because they're older, I hate that. That is a prejudice that I cannot tolerate. I think we should be loving and understanding and treat people with kindness. The other side of that is I really dislike when older people sort of belittle me for my age. They talk about, oh, you'll understand when you're older. It's like, okay, enough. Enough of this sort of like, I don't know, acting high and mighty just because you have lived longer. That does not mean you're more mature than me. It does not mean you're more wise than me. Believe it or not, it really doesn't. I have met older people who are not wise at all, and they do not deserve the title of elder. They do not deserve the title of, a wise person. And so I'm really like, I'm done with that because everybody is a child. I can admit I am very childish in many, many ways. I am not like a mature individual who thinks about things in a well-rounded, meaningful way. I try to, but obviously like I miss the mark a lot. So this idea that like your age matters in any capacity, it doesn't. And maybe my perspective is certainly shifted because my grandfather, and I know I've talked about him a little bit, but my grandfather was 91 years old last year. He recently passed away, but he was so insistent that his grandchildren don't call him grandpa, they don't call him papa, they don't call him any of that. We called him Mike, just his name. And when he was asked about this, he said, well, when the first grandchild was born years ago, like everybody was like, oh, what do you want to be called? Do you want to be grandpa? Do you want to be papa? Do you want and he's like, no, like one day they're going to be, adults, and I need to be able to talk to them like a normal human being. And so he's like, I just, Mike is fine, or Mick or whatever. And so he really had this like egalitarian equality that he lived by and treated everybody as equals. If you were like old enough to have mature conversations about like war and politics and that kind of stuff. So like I was like 14 when he and I started having very, very even conversations. There was never any kind of hierarchy. There was never any kind of like, I am older, so you must, give me respect for the sake of it. No, I gave him respect because he treated me with honesty and respect and with equality. And so he was someone who didn't ask for respect, but got respect based on how he treated people, which is fantastic. That is the way I want to live my life. If I am able to embody any person on this planet, it will be my grandfather. And so this idea that, I deserve respect because I'm older than you. No. And our society really tries to like hem that, like teach that, we try and have deference. I think that's the word. Deference for our teachers, for our elders, for the people who walked before us, for our parents, for our older siblings. And in my view, that should only happen when those people deserve that respect, when they earn that respect. It's not about giving respect out just for the sake of giving it out. It's about, well, has this been earned? Has this concept been appropriate for the situation? Because age, like I said, age is so irrelevant. We are all children. There is no human alive who has all of the answers, who is mature, who makes level-headed decisions every single time. That doesn't exist. We are individuals doing the best we can with what we have. And it can give you a whole level of compassion that you didn't have before. Like I said at the beginning, seeing like adults and older people as just the children that they were, it gives you an ability to forgive and justify people's mistakes and actions, because we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have problems. Like there's going to be really bad decisions made. And I mean, politically, you can look at everything going on in the world today and you can say, oh my gosh, what is going on? But remember, it's just a group of children. trying to solve problems. And I really do believe that these politicians are trying to, they're trying to do the right thing. They're trying to be good. I know there's a lot of like conspiracies and sort of ideas that these people are out to get us. But I really do believe that these people are trying to do good. They are trying to make the world a better place. They're just really, really, really bad at it. And it's frustrating, obviously, to see this whole thing shape out. But I do have compassion for them, and I understand that they are just children trying to figure this stuff out. That doesn't mean that I don't write to them. That doesn't mean that, I don't voice my frustration with them. But it does give me a moment of pause and reflection. And I ask myself, like, could I honestly do any better? Like, would I, in their situation, would I honestly, like, have any kind of, would I bring any kind of nuance or meaningful change to that situation if I was there? I don't think so. I genuinely don't think that I could do a better job than these politicians. I think it's a thankless job. It's difficult. You can apply this to a lot more than just politicians, but that's my opinion on it. I'd really like to hear your guys's, but I don't know. We're just children. We're all just children. It doesn't matter how old you are. We are children, and if you can't accept that, maybe check your ego. maybe just realize that you aren't as mature as you think you are, and you might have a lot more in common with your childhood self now than you think you do. So I don't know, guys. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.